You know the worst bloke you've ever met? That guy who grew up in New South Wales and is supporting Queensland because he likes their style of play better? Well, today, that's going to be you, Miles.
What?
Today, Miles and I are going to be fighting to the death, verbally of course, over Queensland versus the Blues. Look, big debate. We're each going to get 3 points, 3 rounds, and then we're going to decide who the winner is of this series.
Round 1. Fight!
Point number 1 for me, I'm going to go with the centers here. So big advantage for the Blues in the centers. Let's have a look at that breakdown. So firstly, you've got Latrell Mitchell, best center in the history of the NRL. Maybe an overstatement, but he is top 5. And on his day, absolutely unstoppable. I wouldn't have minded him as player of the series the last couple of years. He's just been on another level. And the other guy there is Tom Trbojevic. Tom Trbojevic, look, he's fresh off a game where he scored 3 tries, had a try assist. He's had his challenges as far as fitness goes this year, but he showed last week that he can get it done. I don't think he'll back up for Manly next week, for anyone who has him in fantasy, but he's going to get it done. Then we look at Queensland. I'm not going to let you say a word, just like the Blues won't let you get in either. Val Holmes. So Val Holmes is fresh off a game where, who was he up against? His dad, Stafford Toa. That's the guy. Stafford Toa made Val Holmes look like a child. So what's Latrell going to do to him? What's Turbo going to do with him? And Hamiso, look, he's in great form, but physically, does he match up? I don't think so. So big advantage in the centres for the Blues.
I'd like to respectfully disagree. I would say that, yes, Latrell is the best centre out there at this point in time. Form-wise, I can't really, go away from that. And the Bunnies have been on a roll. A lot of it has come down to Latrell. In saying that, though, these Queenslanders have more heart than the Blues. And heart, at the end of the day, has won it a lot of times for Queensland. And when you look back, actually, when the Hammer was just 19 years of age, he shut down Turbo. And I don't mind that matchup at all. I think Turbo, at the moment, is looking slow. He got burnt by Britton Nakora. What do you think the Hammer's going to do to him? In 2 strides, he's going to be past him, and Turbo's not going to be able to keep up with him. And then on the other side, we've got nimble little Val Holmes as well. He's going to be ducking in and around Latrell, running circles.
He's a nimble little speed bump.
Oh,
right? Stafford Toa compared to Latrell.
Yeah, but that's on defence. I'm talking about attack. When Val Holmes got the ball, Latrell's not going to be able to catch him. I just think that this Origin series is going to be decided by explosive edges, and I think Queensland actually have the advantage.
So what I'm hearing is you're taking the Rugby League 2 approach of who's the fastest player.
I'm telling
Whereas
you right
we've got
now.
the talent. Okay, all right, that's juicy. I think it's 1-0 to me. But let's hear your first point. What have you got for the Queensland Maroons?
I think for Queensland, their biggest advantage coming into this series, and this game 1 especially, is the impact off the bench. Their bench right now looks absolutely unbeatable, and I'm talking Tino. We're talking Cotter off the bench. We got Harry Grant and Jai Arrow. I mean, talk about some mongrels in there and some players that just go 100% as soon as they hit the field. And Harry Grant, he's not even starting, and he's the best hooker in the NRL. I don't know how you get much better than that. And when in an Origin game, it's going to get a bit tired. There's going to be, around the 30-minute mark. You inject Harry Grant into that game. You inject a guy like Ruben Cotter, who's got that great leg speed into that game. It's going to quicken up the ruck for Queensland, and I think they're going to score a few points off the back of it.
Honestly, I can't even debate you on that one. It is a fantastic bench. Look, Ruben Cotter, he's been coming into form. Tino's Tino. Harry Grant is the best. I'm not sure about Jai Arrow. I would have looked at maybe a Jermaine Hopgood, just for the form he's had and what he could offer in terms of creativity and attack. But no, it's a great bench. It's just that they're going to come on down 20-0. So it's going to be tough for them. Look, I'll give you the point there. That's probably 1-1.
Round 2. Fight!
Round 2, I'm going with the form of Nathan Cleary. And look, you can get stuck on Penrith sort of having some growing pains this year, but Nathan Cleary is getting it done over and over again. He got it done in the World Cup, got it done in the Grand Final last year. He's playing well this year. I just think Cleary is that guy. He's the guy in this game, and if Cleary can play his regular game, the Blues will be on top. They'll be putting Queensland in tough positions. You look at Taulagi, Reece Walsh, and Selwyn Cobbo. None of those guys are really dominant forces as far as rucking the ball up. So I think there could be some slow starts to sets for Queensland, especially if Cleary really gets on top, and if we see Hines come on a bit earlier too.
I would say that, yes, while Cleary is in a little bit of form, I think Luai on the other side has played maybe one really good game this year, and there's always the fear, I think, as a New South Wales fan, going into a game where Cleary's going to have to do most of the kicking. So if Queensland can shut that down, I essentially think that they win the game. And you've got guys in the team for Queensland that are going to headhunt for Nathan Cleary. Guys like Tom Gilbert, who is all effort. He will charge down anything he can, put pressure on Cleary all the time. And I just think that Cleary's going to get a little bit too flustered, and we've seen what happens to Cleary when he gets a bit flustered. Can't really handle it too well. The next point that I have for the Queensland Maroons is that we pick guys who are in form, in possibly positions that they're not accustomed to playing. However, that is Queensland's method. We've seen guys like, Capewell be in form, and he slipped into the centres, won a series in the centres for Queensland. Hammer is now playing in the centres. The Hammer made himself, you needed to pick him. Well, it was one of those things where he forced his way into the team and forced Gagai out. Yes, Gagai's been having a pretty good year this year, but I think what Queensland have done, they love to blood new talent, and they didn't stick with the incumbents because, they need to move on. They need to think forward. And for Queensland, they've got a lot of young, good players coming through the junior ranks, and even in the current side, they've got a lot of good players under 25. So I think bringing in those players who are showing a bit of form, giving them a taste of Origin early, I think it can only help Queensland over this series and series to come.
Compared to the experience that the Blues have picked, though?
Well, I think with the Blues, their picking was really odd. I think Tavita Pangai Jr. is by far the biggest eyesore in that team. We saw him at the start of this year play reserve grade for a languishing Bulldogs team who cannot put forwards on the park back-to-back weeks. And yes, he was injured for a little bit at the start of the season, but I just think you can't pick players on the back of one good game like Turbo, Luai, and Tavita Pangai Jr. It's they popped up, they're playing well. It's got to be a consistent thing, and I think all the guys who were selected for Queensland have been playing consistent footy this year.
Final round. Fight!
All right, round 3. I'm going to go with a quick one here, and it's the forwards. It's the middle third. I think New South Wales' middle third is designed to get quick play the balls, to win the ruck. There's no shortage of guys who are willing to take that tough run if Queensland pull off a nice kick and put them in a tough spot. There are a lot of guys who are going to start sets well, but they're not even going to have to do that because Brian Toe will come up the back. He always starts well, 10, 15-metre runs. Then you've got Payne Haas, you've got Cam Murray, Tavita Pangai Jr., Junior Paulo. These are all guys who can get it done in that area of the field. And that means that our more explosive players are going to get some ball on the front foot and they're going to be on top. And look, the Queensland team has a lot of good middle forwards. I'm not denying that. But you talk about a guy like Ruben Cotter, for example. Not the biggest guy. You talk about Tino. Tino's a fantastic player, but probably not as consistent as a lot of the guys I've mentioned there. Payne Haas always wins that matchup when they go head-to-head. I just think the Blues will get on top through the middle. And look, Api Coruscant is a really creative hooker as well. He's going to find a lot there.
It's interesting that you finished with Api Coruscant out there because there's another guy that I didn't think should have been picked for New South Wales. And you talk about getting quick play the balls at the middle. Who's the best at capitalising on a quick play the ball with no markers?
Probably one of the players who's not going to get one.
Damien Cook. Damien Cook
I thought you were going to say Harry
was
Grant.
the guy who should have been picked because if you're going to get those quick play the balls in the middle, getting a Damien Cook run straight off the back of that, he makes about 40 metres on a line break. We've seen him do it before.
Yeah, it's
What's
actually...
Appy do? Appy gets around and looks. He goes, oh.
No, it's actually they've actually worked it out. So it's slower ruck speed in game 1 historically. Okay. So they've gone for more creative hooker.
Oh, right.
I don't know if they'll change it for game 2, but
they will.
Coruscant's that guy. Premiership winner last year. Potential finalist this year if the Tigers keep going. But
look, I will say that for the Tigers over the last month or so, he has definitely stepped up his game, and he's part of the Tigers' resurgence. But to literally just pick him, and Fittler came
loyalty.
Fittler came out and said, "We picked him, and we had Damien Cook picked until Appy played against the Cowboys." And we've seen the Cowboys this year; they're shit. They're my team, and they're garbage. And putting 66 on the Cowboys means nothing to me.
How many players in that Cowboys team are in the Maroons side?
There's 2. 3.
There's 2, yeah.
3.
Yeah, wow.
3.
Okay. one of them defending in the middle. Well, not defending in the middle.
Well, he'll be on the interchange, but yeah.
Part of that bench impact you're talking about, eh?
Yeah, the bench impact. He's probably been our best player.
He's been behind Granville a few times though, so he's used to that role.
Yeah, I'm over there. We're not talking about the Cowboys today. But yeah, I just think with the Blues, they've gone for such an odd pick of players that, if fans had a certain say on who would make the team, then I think most fans would get it right because they're watching the games every week, and I'm not sure what Fittler is on at this point in time, picking Tavita Pangai, who's, in 2019 only came out and said that he loved Queensland growing up and was a Queensland supporter. So
he's the guy we were talking about at the start then. Oh, that's bad. Look, I've got to argue for the height of Pangai. So the best Pangai can be. And when you're talking about guys coming out to rattle players or get them off their game, Pangai's that guy. Pangai's that guy who's going to rush out and put a shot on Tino. He's probably not going to rattle Cotto because Cotto's the toughest man on the planet. But a guy like Ben Hunt at hooker, for example, he takes a scoot at the wrong time, he's going to get clobbered by Tino. And then you throw in the other guys. Cam Murray is I don't know how to describe it. He's a guy with such high standards. He does everything to perfection as a middle forward. You don't want him playing 80, so him coming off the bench is kind of terrifying for Queensland. And then Payne Haas is just on another level. He's on another level. Payne Haas is uncomparable to any forward.
Yeah, I would say that Payne Haas, out of all the team's selections that were either not locked in or locked in, he would be the first guy I would have picked this year for New South Wales. And leading that Dally M count before it went behind closed doors now. Will be interesting to see where he ends up at the end of the season, but he's absolutely killing it this year. It might have been the only year that I didn't draft him in any kind.
I got him. And you know what's happening now as well? Because Carrigan's taking a lot more ball through the middle, a role that Murray can play, and Isaiah Yeo plays to perfection. Payne Haas is running more wide. So he's running at the edges a bit more. He's getting a lot more attacking plays, a lot more offloads for guys who are hitting nice holes. And the Blues need to replicate that and use that and get guys like Hudson Young, guys like Nathan Cleary, and those centres feeding off that ball that Haas creates on the edges. So I just think that middle forward section is an advantage for the Blues. Look, both great sets of middle forwards, but the Blues will win that battle. Anyway, look, that's our debate. New South Wales versus Queensland. Let us know in the comments who you think is going to win this series. Who do you agree with? What point was stupid? And what's the score prediction for the first game? Anyway, we'll see you on the next video.